A very warm welcome to this explainer, fellow educators. As you're progressing through your intensive 42-day technical teacher certificate, you're learning a massive amount about curriculum and pedagogy. But today, this session is going to give you the exact scientific tools you need to decode literally the most complex variable in any of your classrooms: your students.
Okay, so let's dive right into our essential question. How exactly do psychologists systematically understand human behavior? How do we move beyond just, guessing and actually understand the complex things happening right in front of us every single day? Because as technical teachers, we absolutely cannot rely on intuition alone. We need real frameworks.
To answer that, here is our agenda. 1. Decoding human behavior. 2. Observing the real world. 3. Asking and interacting directly. 4. Measuring and testing variables. 5. Deep dives and analysis. And finally, 6. Summary, understanding is solving.
Now, what's really fascinating about our foundational source material is that it's beautifully presented bilingually, right here in Telugu and English. And this is just a brilliant reminder that these 10 behavioral methods we're about to cover, they are completely universal. It really doesn't matter if you're teaching in a bustling urban center or a quiet rural district, the core principles of human psychology remain exactly the same across any cultural context.
Section 1. Decoding human behavior, the scientific mindset. The crucial takeaway here is that truly understanding your students requires systematic and empirical methods. So, what does that actually mean for you on a Tuesday morning? It means you've got to act exactly like a scientist approaching a really complex problem. You aren't just reacting to a disruptive student or a totally quiet classroom. Instead, you're applying structured observation to figure out the real why behind the action.
Section 2. Observing the real world, the power of watching. So we have two closely related methods here, and it's a subtle but super important difference for your toolkit. Both happen in natural settings, sure, but the observation method is broadly about watching and recording behavior without interfering. On the flip side, a naturalistic or field study is a stricter approach where behavior is studied in a specific natural environment with absolutely zero manipulation of the variables. You are literally just a fly on the wall.
And as teachers, this is your daily reality, isn't it? Directly observing classroom behavior during a group assignment or just watching children play out on the grounds during recess. It gives you pure, unfiltered data. When they don't know they're being studied, students will show you their absolute truest social dynamics.
Section 3. Asking and interacting directly, the communication tools.
Now, when you need to scale up your data collection, say to understand an entire batch of trainees, you use the survey method. You're sending out questionnaires to large numbers of people. But when you need that really deep, personal, nuanced insight that a piece of paper simply can't give you, you switch to the interview method, getting your information through focused, face-to-face conversation.
These methods are just invaluable in modern education. Think about it. You might use a survey to quickly gauge a massive cohort's attitude towards a brand new online learning portal. Conversely, you'd use the interview method to sit down one-on-one with a student to deeply understand their personal exam stress. It's all communication, just applied at completely different scales.
Section 4. Measuring and testing variables, the analytical approach.
Okay, the experimental method. This is the absolute gold standard of scientific inquiry. It requires strictly controlled conditions to prove a direct cause and effect relationship. Think back to your pedagogy training. This is exactly what you're doing when you study the effect of a specific reward system on your students' learning progress. You change one variable, the reward. You keep absolutely everything else the same, and you measure the outcome.
While experiments look at cause and effect, the psychometric method is a bit different. It relies on strict, standardized tests and scales to objectively measure those internal mental traits that we obviously can't physically see, like a student's aptitude or their spatial reasoning.
Definitely make a note of this in your training manuals. Tools like a standard IQ test or a comprehensive personality inventory are classic psychometric instruments. You are going to encounter these a lot, especially when you're guiding students towards specific technical career paths based on their measurable traits. Next up, the correlational method. This is where we take a step back and use statistical techniques to map out how two different, already existing variables relate to one another. We aren't manipulating anything here, we're just looking at how things naturally move together.
A perfect, everyday classroom application for this.
Finding the exact statistical relationship between the number of study hours your trainees put in at the library and their final academic achievement on their exams. If one goes up, does the other go up consistently? That's a positive correlation, and knowing that for sure helps you advise your entire batch so much better.
Section 5. Deep Dives and Analysis, the Specialized Tools.
Sometimes surface-level data just isn't going to cut it, and you've got to dig deeper. You'll use the case study method for an incredibly detailed, in-depth look at a single individual or a unique situation. You'd use the developmental method when you really need to understand how behavior changes over a long period of time. And finally, you use content analysis to systematically break down what's being communicated in written, audio, or visual materials.
In practice, these intensive tools are game changers. They allow you to thoughtfully study a child with special needs so you can tailor their education perfectly. The developmental method lets educators actually map out language development over years. And content analysis? Highly relevant today. It lets you systematically analyze exactly what your students are consuming and posting on social media, giving you a real window into their digital environment.
Section 6. Summary: Understanding is solving.
The ultimate goal of learning these scientific, systematic methods isn't just to pass your certificate exam, it's to empower you to understand behavior accurately so you can actually find real, actionable solutions to the complex human problems that are inevitably going to pop up in your classrooms. Because when you truly understand the why, you can finally provide the how. I want to leave you with this really profound thought, drawn directly from our source material. To study behavior is to understand human nature. As you graduate this 42-day program and go forward to teach your own batches, please remember that mastering these 10 tools isn't just about managing a class or keeping discipline. It's about fundamentally understanding human nature itself. And when you understand human nature, you don't just teach students, you transform them. So, how will you use these tools to transform your classroom tomorrow? Think about that. Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer.